Canes basketball post-game show. Miami falls in their ACC opener to Clemson, 65-55. It was at the Watsco Center. Just got back from the game right now. So wanted to bring you guys my reaction from the game now. 6 straight losses for the Hurricanes basketball team. So this season is starting to look way too much like last season, way too early in the season here, as Miami went up to Charleston, of course, a few weeks ago, lose all 3 games in that tournament. And then now 3 straight losses. Charleston Southern last Saturday, which was obviously a really bad Saturday for Canes athletics. Then Arkansas, you battle pretty tough all down the stretch there, and you lose that game in the ACC SEC challenge there. And then today, ACC opener, turn the page, hope for kind of a fresh start on the season. And look, Miami was down at 1 at halftime and held the lead, later into this ball game, into the second half, into the second part of the second half there. And this is a good Clemson team coming in here, very experienced, 9-1 now on the season, 8-1 coming into this game. And just getting into the numbers, the box score part of it, Jaleel Bethea actually was Miami's leading scorer here, really down the stretch, carried Miami offensively. And it was interesting because really was the swing of the game with about 4.5 minutes left there, as Miami gets it was a crazy sequence of events. Jaleel Bethea hits a 3-pointer, a runner, as time was expiring on the shot clock, and they give him the 3, would have cut the lead, Clemson's lead, to 1 point. They end up reversing the call there. Clemson gets the ball back. Miami couldn't really ever recover from that point on. They cut the lead back to 3 eventually, but they just couldn't close there at the end of the game. So Miami loses by 10. It was really like a 1 to 2 possession game for most of the second half, a good back and forth ball game. And Miami falls to 3-6 on the season. Now 6 straight losses. I don't think it's much of a consolation. I don't think this team is as bad as their record shows. I will give them credit because I was on them during the tournament. I was on them big time during that tournament where they lost 3 straight, about them not playing tough. Today they played tough, man. The defensively really held Clemson to, as I look at it here, less than 40% from the field. So 39.7% from the field for Clemson, 33.3% from 3. But Miami, 4 for 25 from 3. So this is a Canes team that going into the season, gun to my head, I would have told you that the biggest strength of this team was the ability to shoot the outside shot. Nigel Pack, 0 for 7 from the field today, 0 for 7 from 3. And to me, he's someone that I would have told you was one of the best 3-point shooters in the country going into the season. You look at Jaleel Bethea coming in, was Miami's best player today, offensively at least, 2 for 3 from 3, and then had that other 3 taken away from him. So ended with 12 points, really should have been 15. But I talk about what I thought the strength was of this team. Nigel Pack, Jalen Blackman coming in as the number 14 scorer in the country last year, one of the best 3-point shooters in the country last year. Matthew Cleveland had some really encouraging moments in the first half there, scored 9 points and then disappears in the second half. Lynn Kidd did some good things for you today, 10 points, 8 rebounds. When they throw the ball into him to the low post, is able to create his own bucket from time to time. So that's, a nice skill to have. Brandon Johnson, 2 for 8 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 8 rebounds, 4 points. There's times that I wish that he would be more assertive, putting it on the hoop and going and scoring, because he's one of the handful of guys on this team that can really go and get to the hoop and finish over someone. So Nigel Pack not scoring a single point in this game kills you. Again, 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3. So that just shows you I don't want to say shot selection. To me, he has the green light. He's a great shooter. But you watch him this year and you watch him last year too, and he doesn't have that Isaiah Wong who can really go physically one-on-one against someone and go get their own bucket and then draw another defender in where Pack can then play off the ball. They don't have that right now. Ideally, Jaleel Bethea would be that. he's growing into that. Jalen Blackman and Pack are just very similar players at this point. So I think rotation, they're starting to figure it out a little bit. Divine Ugochukwu didn't play as much today. Was 2 for 2 from the field. Brought some nice things out there. Joe Bay, defensively, lengthwise, rebounding wise, is going to be a guy who needs to be in the mix because of the personnel that you have. But offensively, man, it just, a lot of guys are that we know are talented offensive players are not playing to the best of their abilities offensively. And again, is that the way that the team's put together? Is it the chemistry? Is it still because they're early in the season? You have 9 new players. Maybe it is, but at the bottom line, you've lost 6 straight. So let me get to some of the comments here. Josh Sarnoff says vibes got to be grim in the locker room. Man, going to the basketball games is different than the football games, because the football games, these guys have helmets on. Football is such an emotional sport that, like, if guys are yelling at each other on the sidelines, you can't account that to anything. Basketball, like, you can see the body language on these guys' faces, and I'm with you, man. It does not look great right now. I think there's a lot of guys who transferred in, who you transfer and you think the world of the opportunity ahead of you, but now that it's here and the season started the way it started, they're probably like, man, like, I wish things were going a little smoother right now. So I see a lot of that. I see a lot of guys who are fighting for minutes in the rotation. Jaleel Bethia, you come in as a top 5 player in the country, you expect to be scoring double digits, playing a lot. He's not starting right now. Austin Swartz, his fellow freshman in the class, has now started multiple games in a row, right? And Swartz is a really solid player, and I think his ceiling is really, really high if he sticks with it. And, if he stays at Miami the next few years and develops, I think he's going to be a really good player. But yeah, you have a lot of guys, a lot of moving pieces here, man. So it's tough. 352 MLW says Coach L keeps playing these small ball lineups and we can't rebound and weak defenders on the wing and paint. You know what? It's interesting. I'm with you for the most part in terms of like the small ball lineups, but Miami out rebounded Clemson today. It was a 36, and that's why I go to all the games with my dad, who I'm going to shout out here in a second. But I'm watching the game, and Miami actually rebounded really, really well today. In person, if you're watching it, they were boxing out well. The energy was high. They were assertive in terms of going and grabbing the ball. That wasn't it was the shot making today. You were sometimes you can overanalyze these things, but Miami was 4 for 25 from the 3-point line today. Like, that's awful. 16%, 4 for 25. It's easy to say, well, if they hit a couple more, then they win this game. But like, legitimately, you're 4 for 25. That's a terrible, terrible percentage. So like, to me, it wasn't even the rebounding or the toughness today. That's what I said from the start. They defended well today. The rebounding was a concerted team effort. I thought it was really solid. It was the defensively they were good. Clemson hit some shots at the end to close it out. I give them credit. They won the game in an ugly fashion, and that's why they're going to go on and be a tournament team again. But it's not like they were really overmatched in this game for the most part from a physical standpoint. So, yeah, down the stretch, I agree. We couldn't get a stop there. Pack is up and down. Look, the thing with Pack, and I've really defended him hard, as a lot of people have gone after him the last couple of years, because he was the player of the region that got Miami to the Final Four. Like, at the end of the day, it hasn't been. Like I just said a few moments ago, I think he's missing that physical presence in the backcourt with him that can allow him to play more off the ball. And he's being asked to be a guy who cuts into the teeth of the defense, is asked to maybe drive past guys that are more athletic, more physical than him. It's not a knock on the kid. It's just the physical limitations that he has. I think that's what it comes down to. Listen, if he's hitting shots early in a game, he's tough to defend because it forces the defender to really play him differently. But if he's not hitting those shots early, he's not going to be someone who really tries to attack you and get at you and get to the cup. And that makes it a lot easier for guys to defend him. So that's as Josh Sarnoff says, hindsight is the issue, too many shooters and not enough drive and kick players. Not enough guys, man, to create for others. 100%. Even Isaiah Wong, he was an ISO one-on-one player, but he forced a double team to come. Who's forcing you to bring a double team on this team right now if you're Miami? There's not someone you can point to and say, look, this is the guy we're going to give the ball to and like force the other team to stop him one-on-one. You don't have that right now. It has to be a complete team. I mean, I would argue maybe it would be Lynn Kidd down low, and he didn't light up the box score today, but like if he gets his positioning down there, I like my chances with him scoring. Not super explosive as an athlete, but at the same time, there's something to be said about him getting his position, throwing it down there, and then he's a pretty good passer as well. So I think we got to look for more of that to continue to be part of this offense. Canes Cat C305 says both teams couldn't make a shot. It was like 4 minutes into the game, 3.5 minutes before someone scored, man. So it was tough. Sarnoff says game was close 2 minutes ago. We need to find a closer. It was not a 10-point game like the final score indicates. It was like I said, a 1 and 2 possession game here the entire second half. Yeah, Norchad's missed, man. I wish his toughness, his energy, his strength. It's funny because sometimes, again, we overanalyze, but like what we can see with our eyes is sometimes what it is. And that's Omir's strength and physicality. And like we call it bully ball, but that mentality seeps throughout the team. And I think you need to see more of that. Good moments today from AJ Staten McCray as well. 3 for 7 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, but 7 boards, 9 points. And I like his confidence offensively. He takes some shots and makes some shots that I'm glad to see him taking. So, guys, I want to remind everyone that this basketball post-game show, as all of the post-game shows and basketball coverage, is brought to you by Aries Law PA. I mentioned earlier, my dad, I go to all the games with him. So we're there in person watching all of this. But as you see the website right here, AriesLawPA.com. Aries Law is a full-service law firm with a specialty in estate planning. In business for over 36 years, we have a team of legal professionals dedicated to guiding and protecting you. If you are someone's child, grandchild, sibling, and most importantly, someone's parent, you need an estate plan. We prepare trusts, wills, powers of attorney, living wills, and all healthcare documents necessary to provide you the peace of mind you deserve. Schedule an appointment at no cost to you and see how we can protect your hard-earned assets. Plan your future so others don't. Aries Law, you can call the number 305-859 9898. Again, Aries Law, 305-859-9898. Very important, guys. Wills and trusts, and it's stuff we don't like to talk about. But go hit my dad up, and he'll take care of you. So let's get into a couple more comments here. Kyle Smith says bright spots from today are AJ Staten McCray and Jaleel Bethea. And remember, AJ Staten McCray has another year of eligibility after this. So we actually interviewed him on Canes Insight with Canes Connection, and he pointed out that he has 2 years of eligibility, and it looks like he plans on using them. So obviously it hasn't been a great start to the year for the team, but he's shown some good things. Length, good athlete, willingness to defend, willingness to rebound, and can shoot it as well too, and shoots it with confidence. So he's someone I'm excited to continue to see the growth of. And I think that as you look for bright spots and building blocks, foundation pieces moving forward, he's one of them, without a doubt. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up as we have, again, thank you for everyone hopping on here. I know we're talking hoops and it hasn't been a great start, but thanks for listening to my thoughts. Fan who's been going to these games for almost 20 years now, since it was the Convocation Center when it first opened. And, I've seen the ups and downs of this program. certainly does not look like a really good time right now. I urge you guys to continue to support this team. I appreciate you again for being on this stream. Let's get it together, Canes. Whole new season here in ACC play. Had an opportunity to win this game down the stretch. Couldn't do it. Let's go, man. Let's keep fighting. And go Canes. Again, thank you to Aries Law PA for sponsoring. Go Canes. And I will see you guys this week on Canes Insight Daily.